everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your Memorial Day. We are out in Santa Fe. Ben is doing his skateboard instructor apprenticeship training thing. I don't know, but he'll be a skateboard instructor soon enough, and that's exciting. And I am drinking my Golden Eagle with coconut milk, and I was sitting here going through some videos where I was talking about different things that have been going on, and they're all a jumbled up mess, and a lot of them are like, I don't know, I've been trying to figure out which goes where. But anyway, I do have a few that are just non-talking parts, like just filming different things. So I'll put those together and I'll add them to here, because I just did a video just a few minutes ago here showing a thrift store haul. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using all the other stuff, I will throw in some of the shopping days where I got those hauls, because I still have another haul to do. But I'll kind of just throw in some of that together. And that one will be with the giveaway. So that will be right after this video comes out. So hopefully I can get this out today, because most of the other ones are, I just haven't. It's been a whirlwind of stuff. So I'm just gonna, instead of trying to stitch all those together, especially because I have to do it on my phone and sometimes it's a bit of a pain. I'm gonna see if this will work. Hold on. As you can see, I'm not in a different vehicle. I'm in a truck. So I kind of want to talk about that. I've talked about the bus a little bit, and about how we ended up sort of in the space we're in right now. When I was praying for a tiny home, we ended up in a tiny home in a one-room cabin. Circumstances were different than I expected to get in, that we ended up there, but it's all God. So since I was very young, my first vehicle, well, the first vehicle that I bought, I was a senior in high school. It's already falling forward. My grandpa had just passed away. My dad's dad, he had passed away in 1995, right before, about the time I started my senior year. So he had two trucks. One was given to my dad, the Ford truck that he used to go to the ranch and everything, and then he had a city truck, which was a Chevy. It was either a 79 or 80 something Chevy, something like that. It was orange. It looked like a pumpkin, and it had a white camper shell on the back. So it was dubbed the pumpkin. But anyway, I bought that. Traded it in for a Honda Civic. Stupidest mistake I ever made at like 19 or around there. Something like that, 20. I don't know how old I was, but yeah, it was dumb because you don't get anything for that. And I missed my truck so bad. And I've been wanting a truck ever since, but they're so expensive. And I just never got one, there's just so many things that God has done for us that it just blows my mind. Okay, but I've been praying for a truck. So when we decided that we wanted a tiny house, or a mobile tiny house, it's been about I would say a good 10 years that I've been like really talking about it, or telling my husband about it, and he was kind of for it and kind of not. It was just, one of those things. But then he really got into the idea too, and I need to get my lotion. But so we were thinking, if we found a truck, because we were looking for a truck, because we looked at RVs and stuff, and a lot of the ones that were within like something that we could maybe afford, they were a lot older, and some of them had some issues, not big issues, but some, and that stuff that I don't know if we'd be able to figure out or want to deal with. So, and I don't know, we just couldn't find the right one, it was like that kind of thing. So then I'm looking at trucks. They're all so expensive. Even used ones were like, I think the cheapest one I found was like $10,000 to $12,000, and that was all God. Like, because I had seen buses and everything, but there was always like, they were, like I said, the high, really high mileage or whatever. This one has 100 and some thousand. 160,000, no, 100, 140 something thousand, something like that. It's a 2009, I believe, 2009 International, and it's diesel, and it still runs well and everything. It ran good. And when we drove it from my hometown out to the house, which is about a 45 minute drive, about 40 minutes, I guess. And then, okay, so I don't know if I think I have told the story about the car. So I'm just going to do a quick thing about the car, and actually about Graham as well, because it's just a testimony of God's amazing power and his provision, and not just providing for your needs, but he'll provide your wants when you're walking with him. And maybe not every single want, because a lot of our wants are not in line with his will. But I talked about this before, how we've always had pets. We've always had dogs and cats since the whole time we were married. And we've been married over 23 years and together over 24. So our pets had always been really, really close to my husband, because his job allowed him to be home more. And I was in the office. So like they just kind of attached him. I still have mine who were attached to me, but even at that, you know, and I always wanted, I don't know, I think after moving out here, it was a big change. We've been out here for going on 7 years now. It'll be 7 years, I think, in September. And that was a big change, because I was so used to being in my hometown with my parents all the time and hanging out with my mom. And then when my mom passed away, it was just like, it's another big, huge thing that was just weighing on me. And you know, like sometimes you just need that little extra, I don't know, like something to help you sort through the grief, I guess. And it's interesting because I'll share a song. I can't remember the name of the band, but I'll add that in later. But something I recently heard that kind of reminded me of this whole situation I'm talking about. So I'd been praying, and I've been telling my husband, I'd been telling my sister, I want a dog, but I want a dog that's on my own. I want one that's attached to me. Like, I want him to be attached to my husband and everything, but I want him to be attached to me. So my sister and her boyfriend, they travel a lot because, well, some they do just vacations and stuff, but he plays for a softball team. And so they travel all over the United States. And they were in Las Vegas, Nevada for a tournament, and this dog was under their car. I'm not sure if it was at the game or at the hotel they were staying at. And he had like a rope-ish collar that was kind of almost embedded into his skin, I guess. And he wouldn't come out from under there. Finally, her boyfriend got him out, and he loves dogs, so they were not leaving this dog. They tried finding their owners, and you know, he posted it, I guess, on the Las Vegas websites or whatever. Looked around, but they never found him. So they canceled flights, and they brought the dog home to Rio Rancho. And my sister's like, "Do you want a dog?" And I was like, I don't know, because at that time, when we first moved there, a little after we moved there, our dog passed away. A little after that, my in-laws' dog passed away, and they had just gotten a new dog, a girl, and a Pumpkin, which you've seen in my videos. And I was like, I don't know how a dog, like how she's gonna do with another dog, like, you know, how they're gonna get along, and you know, all this stuff. And so I just prayed, well, you know, for God to send us the right dog. And so that year, we got him the day before Thanksgiving. That it's going on 3 years. I'll be 3 years now this year. And he was like an immediate attachment, and him and Pumpkin immediately got along. Like, they just are like best friends. I mean, these two will see each other first thing in the morning, give each other kisses, and then start beating each other up and play fighting and doing all the crazy things that they do. But that was all God. I mean, I don't know, I can't even explain that connection with Graham. So the song is called Good Old Dogs and God, and I do not remember the band. I think it's kind of like a country-ish song. I'll try to put that in the description or like on the screen, but it's the song rings true for me, and I'm sure every other dog owner and God follower, because it's it's like, it's that idea that, you know, like every time someone talks about dogs, you know, like they have a dog and their dog's like unconditional love, and they, you know, whatever, and that's the basis of the song, and it's true. So okay, so that's Graham. And my sister, same sister that got me this dog, gave us the Camry. It was a car that she had since 2008. She got it brand new then. She used it, my niece used it, my nephew used it, and hold on. And so yeah, it was that became our car. I'll be right back. Okay, I gotta get so this the car. So we got a car. And I'd been, just not that long before that, I'd been asking God to provide a way, because I have a lot of appointments, and some are in my hometown, some are here in Santa Fe. We live 20 minutes from here and 40 minutes from my hometown. And I would either have to get a ride, like my dad sometimes would pick me up and take me, or we'd borrow my in-law's car, my mother-in-law's car, which wasn't that big of a deal. Like, she doesn't drive anymore, so we used to use the car for her stuff, and then we try to do as much of it together as we could, but it didn't always work out. So, and I just kind of didn't like the idea of having to borrow it all the time. So we got the car. It'll be a year. It was just a year now in March that we've had the car. And then we really wanted to be able to get our own space, you know, have our own little tiny home, that we could be mobile and go camping and go traveling if we wanted to, or whatever, but still be able to help his parents and my dad if he needs me, or whatever our family needs, right? So I see this bus, and I don't know what to, but I told my husband, maybe we should just go look at it, stand in it, see if we even want this, you know. And it took a while. Finally we went to town. We went to my hometown, because that's where we got it from, and we went over to see this guy that had it, and he had my husband drive it right away. And it just felt like the thing, like it just all fell together. At the time, like I said, I was looking for a truck before that, because I was thinking, if we don't find a bus or an RV, we get a truck, we can put a camper in it, start camping, then maybe eventually get a trailer to pull, because sometimes those are cheaper to get. Well, we got the bus. We stopped looking for a truck. We had my sister and her boyfriend looking for a truck for us as well. We hadn't told them to stop looking either, but they kind of did, because they figured, you know, they got the bus. Then their friend, who has a mechanic shop out there, and he gets like vehicles to sell, got this, and it's a Ford F-150, which is, that's the truck I always wanted, a Ford F-150. This one's an EcoBoost XLT, I think, crew cab, and I've always wanted the 4 doors, because it just makes things easier. We can get wood, we can haul our trash, because that's what we have to do out there, so it makes life a lot easier. And the price for this was amazing. And the reason I'm sharing this is just because if he can do this for us, he can do this for you. Just trust him. And it's not in your timing. I've been wanting a truck since I was 20, or before that. Well, I had that one, you know, they tell you, when I was 18, but, or 17, going in, and you know, through about 19, I believe, before I traded it in. And I've been praying for a truck since then. I'm 48, you know, and it took that long, but it's perfect. It's perfect because it's his timing, and he knew what we needed when we needed it, and he provided everything. He opened every single door that we needed, but like I said, it's in his timing. And I just wanted to share this with you guys, because I know that we all struggle with our needs sometimes, and our wants, of course. We need to trust him, because he knows what we need and he provides. I mean, we see this in scripture all the time, not to worry, not to be anxious. Look at the birds, look how he clothes the flowers, you know, whatever. You see it. Like, I look out and I'm like, if he could do that for a tree, what is he going to do for me, right? I got to remember that, because I get anxious a lot. I worry a lot, and I'm really learning about that. This is teaching me a lot of lessons, believe me. And so it's just really interesting, really just amazing, I guess, to say, like, he's doing this for me, and who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just someone who believes in him, who loves him, who trusts him, who struggles sometimes with all of that. But I finally learned to let go of the control. You know, that's the thing. This is interesting. When I was dealing with this idea of control, I've talked about this in videos before about driving all the time. Like, I was always driving and I wanted to be in control. I wanted to be the one who was in control of the vehicle or in control of whatever. And I noticed it more in that because that was something that was a little bit more obvious. And once I let go of that, I started feeling better in the anxiety and worry department. I started being able to let go. I still struggle quite a bit sometimes, but I'm able to be aware of it and give it back to him and be like, nope, I don't want this. Take it from me. I'm leaving it here, and you carry the burden that I'm not meant to carry. And once I started doing that, look, all the doors open. Because if we're not good stewards of what we have, we're not going to get more. How are we going to take care of more? We can't take care of what we have. We're not good stewards of our lives. If I'm always anxious and worried and trying to control everything, how am I going to even deal with having a bus and living in it, or having a truck and doing what needs to be done? Because I want everything that we have to be for his glory, be used for his glory. And so, you know, just keep trusting him, keep praying, keep believing. His timing is perfect. And there's things that are for us and things that aren't, and there's reasons for everything. We just have to trust that he knows best. And if you guys have any prayer requests, leave them in the comments below. You have any thoughts, whatever you want to share, just share them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video. God bless you. The storm looks a little crazier than what it actually is. It's not raining very hard, but it's probably raining pretty hard around us, and it looks like really dusty in the air. So I'm going to pick up Ben from the skate park. I just got to the bookstore, but it started raining like maybe 10 minutes or so after I got here. So yeah, well, otherwise, and actually even with this, it's a good day. We need the rain. All right, guys, see you in the next